welcome to Open Line. I'm Jolene DeVito. It's the season of giving, but beyond the gifts you're buying for family and friends, some Irving charities are hoping you'll remember them this holiday season as well. Whether you're looking for a place to make that year-end donation for a tax deduction, or perhaps looking for a place to donate your time, we have some ideas for you. Have a pen handy because we'll be providing some contact information for you later on. Our guests with us today are Irvin Cares Executive Director Teddy Story, Irving Family YMCA Executive Director Doug Fox, Brighter Tomorrow's Executive Director Diana Franzetti, and Marcy Murray, a volunteer with the DFW Humane Society. All of the charities represented today are supported by the City of Irving, and thank you all for being here very much. We appreciate your time. So let's start by getting an overview of all your organizations for those who might not be familiar. Of course, Teddy, a lot of people familiar with Irving Cares, but for those who maybe aren't, tell us about your group.
Irving Cares was founded in 1957, so we're celebrating 55 years of service this year. We have 5 different programs. We help Irving families with financial assistance for rent or utilities or prescriptions. We have a transportation program that takes people to and from their medical appointments. We have a food pantry. We have an employment program that helps people find jobs, and we have information and referral.
That's all? That's all?
That's all we do. And
wow.
Through all those things, last year Irving Cares served 42,000 people.
That's amazing.
20% of the population of our city.
Amazing, 20%. Okay, Doug, the highlights from you, the Irving Family YMCA.
Yeah, so the YMCA, it's probably not the same YMCA that we all grew up with.
Sure.
The YMCA over the years evolves, if you will, to meet the needs of the community. And so in Irving, you know, we really have focused on 4 pretty critical areas. One is in the area of healthy living. One is social responsibility in terms of giving back and showing folks how to do that. The other is in youth development, which is a key area. And then the other thing is around the area of programs for children with special needs. We have a critical need, as Teddy just mentioned, in our community with a lot of families that are, you know, within the range of the poverty level, so they can't always afford programs like this. And so the YMCA goes out and raises money so that these programs are sometimes free or reduced so that no family or no child will be turned away.
Diana, let's get the highlights from you about Brighter Tomorrow.
Yes, Brighter Tomorrows is a domestic violence and sexual assault emergency shelter organization. Of course, we're a nonprofit. Everything is free to anyone who comes in. They have to be fleeing domestic violence or sexual assault. And last year, we have shelters in Grand Prairie and in Irving. And together, those 2 shelters last year housed 474 women and 540 children. So over 1,000 people. You can imagine if you had 72 people in your home every night, we take care of that many people. We served almost 40,000 meals last year and had 4,800 calls on our hotline, which is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
And we'll talk more about that throughout the show.
Okay.
Marcy, you have some pretty good name recognition, the DFW Humane Society, but tell us about your group.
We are an animal shelter that's been serving the Metroplex and Irving community for over 45 years. And we've been in our new location for going on our 2nd full year. And it's a wonderful location. We share the facility with Irving Animal Services. It's a great partnership. And we take in and find forever homes for homeless and abandoned animals.
That's a great facility.
It really
took
is.
the kids and had to drag them out of there.
We feel so blessed to be there.
It's a great place. All right, now I'd like to go down the line and give you each some time to talk about what your biggest needs are this time of year. So Teddy, let me start with you. What would you say Irving Cares really needs at this time of year?
This holiday season, our biggest need is in the food pantry. We, though our food pantry sees a kind of a stable number of clients usually that spread pretty equally throughout the year, what we're really doing right now is recovering from a very untraditional increase in services. Usually we have a peak in the summer months, but then it goes back down. But it went up in June and July, and it stayed up all these months. So, you know, there's just more increased need. More people are experiencing job loss or reduction of hours. They just, maybe they used to get overtime and now they don't. there are many more people that just aren't able to feed their family.
You hate to hear that because you'd like to think that we are past the worst of it in terms of the economic downturn, but you're not seeing evidence of that, are you?
Not yet. The average family that comes to Irvin Cares earns about $24,000 a year.
Okay.
So whenever any of those families have a sudden decrease in what money they do have or an unexpected expense, they're going to be in trouble pretty quickly financially. So, but usually our peak season is in the summer because the kids are out of school. You know, they need to eat 3 meals a day at home instead of 2 at school. So it always picks up in the summer, but generally it goes back down, you know, by September and October and November and December. Those are usually just regular months. But for us, a regular month now is nearly 1,000 families, where before it was 700.
So you need food. Do you need the actual food items, or is a cash donation better, or what's your preference?
Actually, a cash donation goes further.
Okay.
Cash donated to Irvin Cares, because of our procurement methods through North Texas Food Bank and some other retail vendors, goes about 3.5 times further. So really a donation of cash does go further, but for some people, just the work of going to the grocery store with a specific mission in mind, I'm buying these for a person in need, it accomplishes a different thing. So, you know, we really need both, but your money goes further if you donate money to Irvin Cares that we spend.
And I find that when I'm giving, especially if I have my children involved, I like to go buy the can. That translates more for them. I'm giving this soup, this chili to someone who needs it.
They see it happening. They see it happening, and you know, they can come to Irvin Cares and help us sort it and put it away. They can tour the facility, see the whole thing, and you know, and they'll see the clients that they're ultimately serving. And what's interesting is, you know, they look just like us. They're, you know, just regular people trying real hard, but you know, unexpected expenses just have set them back. So volunteers, people coming to Irvin Cares to do the work in the food pantry, those are always needed. One of the barriers that we have is that we're only open Monday through Friday from 9 to 4.
Okay.
So that takes a little bit of arranging sometimes. But I really think it's worth the effort, because what you see is, you know, a lot of good work happening.
In terms of the donations that you need, what kind of trends do you see throughout the year? You mentioned that, you know, when the kids are out in the summer, you get really busy and need more and more food. But what else happens kind of seasonally at your organization?
Really, people get very benevolent around Thanksgiving with food. They don't want anybody to be hungry around the holidays. So we take advantage of it. You know, we just take as much food in as we can. November and December are traditionally our highest months for donations, outside of some special event that might cause a very large food drive. But really, November and December are our peak season for donations. And frankly, we bank on that. You know, we just hope that they are that big and that they continue to stay that big.
That's got to be scary to see the pantry get lower and lower, knowing that November's coming, and just hoping that people are as generous as they have been in the past.
Our food pantry needs a tremendous volume of product. Each food order has about 85 pounds of groceries in it. So at 700 families a month, that means we need nearly 75,000 pounds of groceries. So it's a large, large number.
Doug, let's move down to you and find out what your greatest needs are right now.
Yeah, I think this time of year we're getting ready to kick off our annual Partners Campaign, and what that does is we get money from local businesses, individuals, folks that are interested in the things that we're doing. And so again, when you look at childhood obesity prevention, you know, at-risk teen programs for children with special needs, some folks they're really passionate about it. Either they have a personal experience or some sort of a story. And so folks that are interested in making a year-end donation to the Y, that would go into that pot, if you will. And so that means that, you know, next year I think 8,000 kids and their families were able to be served by some of these programs that we offer for free, and then scholarships are available for those children in need. I think that the other thing that's interesting, and we all as the nonprofits in town have a really good working relationship. So at the YMCA, you'll see two things. You'll see the Irvin Cares box, because we want our members to be participating in that. And so there's a list of things that Teddy needs at Irvin Cares. There's a list of things that the main place needs for homeless teens in Irving, and our membership is very generous. The folks that are there, they don't also want to see anybody go without, and so we may not be the biggest donation, but we know that the Y and our people are going to make an impact. But as far as the Y is concerned, we really will be in high gear come January for kicking off our campaign, and again, those that want to make a year-end donation, certainly that would be appreciated.
And it's certainly, obviously, a good
Yes.
time to do that.
Yeah.
When you give that donation, do people ever like to specify where they want their dollars to go, and is that even possible, or is that just kind of a headache for you?
No, it's a good question, and there's obviously many great corporate citizens in Irving, and for example, Dr. Pepper, they make a $10,000 donation to the YMCA, but it's specifically for our Miracle League program, which is our baseball league for children with special needs. And so Sam's Club made a significant donation to our Play and Learn program, which is a school readiness. And so we hope, and I think the other nonprofits would agree, we want somebody that has a passion for what we're doing. We don't just want the money, we really want them to get involved and engaged, because an engaged volunteer, engaged supporter really exponentially helps the work that we're trying to do. And so so absolutely they can earmark it to where they want it to go, but we also want them to come see it. You know, we invite the donors to come in and see a graduation ceremony or see one of these programs in action, because it's one thing to see it on paper, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's very, very powerful once you've experienced it firsthand.
When you see the faces that go along with the programs, it has a significant impact. Diana, unfortunately, we often hear that domestic violence increases this time of year. Is that the case that you see through your group, and how does that affect your needs this time of year?
Well, really, that's a valid question. Excuse me, but truthfully, domestic violence can happen anytime, anywhere. It seems to come more to the forefront during the holidays because we're all supposed to be so happy and everything's supposed to be
work together.
wonderful. Yeah, where everybody's together and the family's together, and that may or may not be the best thing. But it can happen anytime, anywhere. So just imagine you walked out of your home this morning with your purse and you hadn't been allowed to have any money. You don't have a credit card, you don't have a checkbook, and you have 2 little kids, and you're trying to get away from domestic violence, and you have nothing. That's who we have come to our shelters, and they don't have toothbrushes, socks for the kids, undergarments.
Yeah, they're getting out.
Nothing.
Right.
They have nothing, and so Brighter Tomorrows furnishes everything from electricity to keeping the lights on, washers and dryers. Imagine having 32 people in your home every night, and how much the washers and dryers go.
And many of them with children, I'm sure.
And toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies and Lysol and just everything that you have in your home, multiply that times 32 people.
And you need
times
it.
2 shelters, and we need it. So we need cash donations, but in kind, of course. We have most of our shelter clients and our transitional housing clients at this time right now are adopted for Christmas. We still have some things that we would like to give them if at all possible. So we have that list at the office if anybody wants to call. But cash, you know, just keeping the doors open and buying the food and taking care of plumbing issues and everything. It is a huge undertaking, and have a lot of dedicated staff, but really for about the last year and a half, we've been at full capacity or near full every night. So that's a lot of women and children to take care of. A lot of supplies, food, everything you can imagine. Toothbrushes, toothpaste,
In terms
everything.
of the specific items, what do you get a lot of, and what perhaps could you use more of?
Well, we could always use more money, but items in kind, cleaning supplies, copy paper. You know, I have 36 employees, so there's a lot of case notes and information, copy paper, cleaning supplies, paper goods, food, diapers for the babies that may come in. Sometimes we'll have a woman that comes in with 4 kids under the age of 5, you know, and they have nothing. They have no clothes, just what they wore coming in. So just lots of different, anything in a home, shampoo, detergent, laundry detergent, you name it, paper plates, everything.
That's a good way to think of it. Think about the things you use
in your home.
That's what you need.
You know, and everyone goes to the store all the time if you're like me, so just pick up an extra pack of dishwasher liquid or shampoo or whatever, and it goes a long way. You'd be helping a lot of people that you'll never see, just as you might not see with these other agencies, but we have to get them strong for themselves and their children and become productive citizens and
Right.
not fleeing.
Which in turn makes them strong for the community.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely.
Marcy, your turn. Your needs this time of year.
I've been thinking about all the things that I can donate to all of you.
I know, I am too. I'm like,
I know.
what do I have in my purse?
Yes, you know, pets are considered a luxury items in a lot of households, so by the time they get to you all, they've already had to make other arrangements for their pets, because a lot of times the luxury items are the first things to go. So a lot of people over the last couple of years have already had to surrender their pets, because that's one thing that they haven't been able to keep up. So we have taken in a lot of owner surrender pets over the last couple of years, and we're always operating at full capacity. Very seldom do we have a lot of room. But as the others have said, cash donations are always welcome, always welcome.
They're always the right size.
Yes, yes.
They always fit.
And any size, it all matters. Every dollar counts. I always tell people, if you collect change in your ashtray, bring your ashtray in, because that change adds up quickly. Pennies, you know, we've had elementary schools in Irving, a student come in and say, I want to do a penny drive for you. You know, whatever we can do to support them and their endeavor, we want to do, because that really matters for us. And when they're finished, we'll take puppies up and, you know, do some education on pet ownership and the responsibilities of it, and, you know, let them play with the puppies and, you know, learn how to handle them, take kittens if we can, things like that. So cash donations are definitely needed. One of the things that I think makes us unique in the shelter environments is that we actually do a lot of medical care. We're able to take in special needs cases that require medical care. Broken hips, broken legs. We had a dog come in with a broken leg, an eye issue, and a broken tail. Oh. And we were able to, his name was Zeke, we were able to, he had to have his eye removed and his leg amputated, and his tail is permanently crooked. But he was a little
got character.
Yes, absolutely. He's been through it, and he's so thankful to be in a home. You know, it just really paid off for Zeke. And I kind of say that we're the home of the three-legged dog. We've had 3 amputations this year, and all 3 of those dogs have gone home. But I always say that God gave them 4 legs for a reason. It's just in case something happened to one. They do just fine.
They do.
They do.
They really
they thrive.
Do.
And Thomas with IC TV actually did a great video on it that shows several of our dogs that have been recipients of the Angel Fund in action and in their homes and with their adoptive parents. And you can see that on dfwhumane.com under videos. And it's just a fantastic way of showing where donations go.
You really
for the
get to see
Fund.
where they go with your
Definitely,
group.
definitely. And we get a lot of heartworm cases that is a preventable disease, but if you don't give them their prevention each month, then they're going to get heartworm, which will kill them. So when we take in an animal that has heartworm, we treat them, which can be a very expensive treatment, and make them adoptable and give them their second chance to find a home. So cash is always welcome. Donations are always welcome at the Humane Society.
Let's take some time now to talk more specifically, we've touched on it, but more specifically about your volunteer needs. This time of year, if there's a specific one, but in general as well. So Teddy, let me start with you. You touched on it, but go back through the volunteer opportunities and the needs you have at Irvin Cares.
Irvin Cares only has 12 staff members, but we have about 300 volunteers that work for us either once a week or just one time a year. We have volunteers that are case managers, volunteers that help interview the client and talk to them about their needs and whether Irvin Cares is the place to help them or give them access to other agencies. Volunteers do intake, you know, preparing the client files for the case managers. Volunteers do all the administrative stuff, you know, writing checks, making deposits, paying bills. Volunteers do virtually everything that staff does. The big key component is in the food pantry, where it's a very physical job. You know, you need to be able to lift and push and pull, and that is, you know, daily shifts. You know, there's half-day shifts on each of the 5 days of the week, but volunteers do virtually everything in the food pantry, bringing in the donations, weighing and sorting, and you know, storing them away. Then there's other volunteers that fill food orders for the clients.
So there's something for whatever your skill set or interests might be.
We have sit-down jobs, we have very physical jobs, we have jobs that are just data entry, whether you want client contact or you don't. There's tons of opportunities.
Now, if you don't know that you have enough time to commit on an ongoing basis, can you just come in once?
Absolutely.
You can.
Absolutely. We'd love to have just, sporadic volunteers are some of our best advocates because they've seen the work happen and they can go back and tell their friends.
How about you, Doug? What are your volunteer needs?
Again, it is similar to Teddy. There's a wide variety. I mean, we're a youth sports organization as one of our programs, and so we have a lot of folks that want to give back to kids and make a difference and be mentors to young people. So there's always an opportunity to do that. But I think with the programs that we're focused on now in these other critical areas, we're always needing help cutting things out, preparing. We've got a literacy night coming up on the 17th. It's free. We'll give out a bunch of books. Santa will be there, and it's all free. Well, it doesn't just happen. And like Teddy, we only have, a dozen to 2 dozen staff. So the volunteers are really what make those things happen. I think, for us, we don't always have volunteer opportunities, but I know where Teddy works, and that's where we send them. And so
Right.
I think that folks who are interested in volunteering go to your local nonprofit because they know who needs the help. And we may not need it today, Teddy does. Teddy may not need it today, but we do. And we work very closely together to make sure that everyone is getting taken care of.
We've seen some great volunteer work at the Miracle League games.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think the cool thing about that is we've got volunteers of all ages there, but when you see middle school and high school age kids literally out on the field mentoring a child that is really a peer, somebody that goes to their school, it's really powerful. My daughter Maddie is one of those buddies, and it's changed her life. I mean, it really has. And these kids can't wait to see Maddie when she comes out. They don't care about me, but they can't wait to. They can't.
You're
wait.
old news.
Yes, where's Maddie? And I think it makes a big difference because these kids, one, don't have the opportunity to be physically active. They certainly don't have the opportunity to be social. And now they're doing it with somebody that maybe wouldn't even look at them when they're walking down the hall at school because they're in different classes or maybe there's just not an opportunity. And so really powerful. And so Miracle League is typically a spring and fall. We just wrapped up our 7th season. Numbers are huge. We'll be doing it again in March, and the more the merrier. And just come and watch it because you'll keep coming back.
Yeah.
You'll just keep coming back.
Diana, what about volunteering at Brighter Tomorrows? You have obviously confidentiality issues to deal with there. So can you use the help of volunteers?
Yes, absolutely. We have several different options for that. Actually, in the shelters, we have a number of groups that come and adopt a room, one of the bedrooms in a shelter. We do background checks, and of course everybody has to be approved to do it, but it is a group of 10 people can come in and transform a room.
So what do they do? Do they decorate?
Can paint it, decorate
really?
it. We had groups come in. We have beds and baby beds, but new soft goods for the beds, curtains, paint it, do any kind of decorations. And to know that a woman fleeing from domestic violence can walk into this soft, pale green room with beautiful furniture, oh my gosh, it will make your heart jump because it is just beautiful. And we have lots of groups that do a room or do the playroom or just adopt something, a room to help, the living room, whatever, in this community living situation. We also have a transitional housing program, which is for women that are a little further along on their journey. They're able to work and have their own apartment that we own, and then we pay their rent and their electricity, and they put that money into savings, so they have it when they get ready to graduate from our program and go into safe housing. So an apartment could be adopted anywhere from doing everything, the flooring, appliances, window treatments, whatever, or just one segment of those apartments, so that when we accept somebody into the program, they go into a nice, new, safe, clean, pretty apartment. And of course, as I said before, supply drives. We have all kinds of groups do that, and I'm telling you, we go through supplies and food and clothing like crazy. We also have a thrift store in Grand Prairie and one in DeSoto, so if anybody can bring any items to there, that money comes back to the organization, and our clients also get to shop in those if they need anything. So
that's great.
Lots of opportunities.
Marcy, how about you? I know you depend on volunteers quite a bit.
Oh, definitely. And there's tons of things that volunteers can do. A lot of people think the only thing you do is come and clean up after the pet.
Right.
That's not the case, actually. TLC is the most popular thing. You just come and love on the animals. That's it. That's what they need. Staff doesn't have time to do that. We operate on a very shoestring staff. So come in, give them some TLC, give them some socialization. If you are familiar with some training, teach them how to sit. A lot of times, probably 99% of the time, the reason why a pet is with us, if they were owner surrender and it wasn't a difficult situation, was because they didn't have the time or didn't take the time to train them. And so by providing 5 or 10 minutes of training with a dog, that dog is more adoptable than it was the day it came in the shelter. We have volunteers. All they do is when we send out a mailing, they may be allergic to pets or something, so all they do is the mailing. Some just handle the fundraising. Some crochet little mats for the cats in the cages. Others, all they do is supply newspapers on a weekly basis for the bottom of the cages.
Everyone,
absolutely.
Right? And do you need some special training to volunteer with you?
If you're going to be handling animals, yes, we do have a class that teaches you how to handle the animals and some of the rules for handling animals and just some of the things that you need to know about the shelter and things like that.
At the top of the show, I mentioned all of your groups partner with the City of Irving, and in the time we have left, I'd just like to get your thoughts on how that partnership benefits both ways. Teddy?
We're very thankful for our relationship with the city. First off, just as a communication tool, because we can talk to them and say these are our needs, and word gets out, and they're very generous with that. But also they are very generous in how they do drives for all of the charities that are in Irving. They're very supportive of donating things, but also through the cities at Irvin Cares, we have grant opportunities through Housing and Human Services, and that's a great opportunity for us.
And Doug, what would you add to that?
Well, yeah, I would echo what she's saying, but I think that for us, we have the specific relationship with Miracle League, where the city's built this amazing field, and we're very fortunate to be the one that raises the money and runs the program. But I think the thing that impresses me so much about the city is they're not just sitting back waiting for issues. They're trying to be on the front line. So as we talk about childhood obesity prevention, the city is there to figure out what they can do to help. As we're talking about at-risk teens, the Youth Council and Councilman Ferris, who joins us for those meetings, everybody's looking for solutions to challenges, and that's just rare. The towns I've come from in the past, you just don't see the same commitment from the city to really tackle issues. So.
Let's make sure we have the time to get in the contact info, so let's go down the line again, and what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Our website has all kinds of great information, and it's at irvingcares.org.
Okay, irvingcares.org.
And ours is irvingymca.org.
irvingymca.org, okay. Diana?
BrighterTomorrows.net has a list of everything we need, donors, any ways to volunteer, anything you can help with.
Okay, and Marcy?
And our website is dfwhumane.com, and our telephone number, if you'd like that,
Sure, go ahead.
is 972-721-7788.
One more time on the phone number in case someone's trying to write
It's
it down.
972-721-7788.
7788. Have you seen, to hopefully end on a brighter note, perhaps, have you seen any indications that as we claw our way out of the terrible few years in the economy that we've had, any bright spots? Do you see any evidence in that where you touch the communities? And, anybody can jump in here.
I would say, I think that the bright spot for us is a couple of years ago when we tried to figure out what the direction of the Y was going to go, we chose these kind of 3 areas of focus, and the community's been so generous. The amount of money that the Y has been able to raise, but more importantly, the lives we've been able to touch has doubled and tripled over the last 3 years, and we didn't do that by staff. We did that because of volunteers, support from the community, support from the city and the school district, and so I don't know if we're necessarily coming out of the downturn as well as we might like to, but I know that this is a very generous community, and that blows me away.
And thank you all for the parts you play in it and the great work you do. And we appreciate your time today coming here to tell us about it. Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll help get the phone ringing even more for you.
That would be great.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. I'm Jolene DeVito. Be sure to join us for our next edition of Open Line, live at 1:30 p.m. Thursday, January 17th. Police Chief Larry Boyd will be our guest. If you have questions, you can email them to ictn@cityofirving.org or connect with us on Facebook. We'll get answers on our next edition of Open Line, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.